Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We take the pleasure to welcome all of you to the valedictory function of the 5-day practical workshop on International OECD Seed Certification. It gives us great pleasure and honor to proudly say that Government of Telangana, with the proactive government policies, has been moving towards seed bowl concept. And this is certainly the proud moment that our state of Telangana has implemented first in the country.
Because we were asked to describe it in a sort of post-control setting, I've put some issues to post-control. Here's some people in Edinburgh sowing post-control plots. Here's the plots that have come through. And the plots that we sow, it's a kind of generally accepted standard, certainly is in the EU, are 10 metres long by 1 metre wide. Okay, and in our case, we drill 7 rows. So does 10 metres long by 1 metre wide sound familiar to anybody? There's at least one nodding head, but I'm not sure if that's somebody that's asleep or not. But yeah, so it's the same size as a quadrat. So when you're doing your post control and your field inspections, if you have a pre-control element, then you can, and you get a result on the control plot. You can relate that directly back to the level of impurities that the crop inspectors should be finding in the fields. So it's a kind of a much easier link. And here are here's an aerial view of control plots. This is where we train the inspectors. These all have names. These are practice mixtures. Then those are the start of the control plots. You can see they're grouped together by varieties from the colours. That's a very old picture. That vehicle was used during the war for civil defence purposes. Okay, and here's some people in the control plots doing their evaluations and examinations, and the off types are marked. So I've put a bit in about you. These we've talked about these already. So I mentioned earlier on about OECD descriptors, and for wheat, these are the descriptors that the OECD would expect you to be able to do in the fields. These are the ones that you would catch your eye when you're doing the crop inspection. That's the kind of visual thing that would draw you to finding the off types. So earing, the UPOF character number is 5, so we've got time of ear emergence, flag leaf, glucosity of sheath. Does anybody remember what glucosity is before I go any further? Waxiness. Yes, that's right. Excellent. Well done. Ear glucosity, culm, glucosity of the neck, plant height, colour of ear at maturity, ear shape, ear density, and horns or skers present or absent. Then the secondary characters are take a little bit more searching out. So skers at the tip of ear, the length, lower gloom, shoulder width and shoulder shape, lower gloom, beak length and beak shape, and grain coloration with phenol. And this is a kind of really interesting character because that's a biochemical test that's approved. So ear density, this is the length on the rachis between the various spikelets. So here you have a larger distance, this is lax. On the other side, this is dense. This is dense. And density, as the ears become more dense, it tends to force the spikelets from being more parallel to more out this way. So that kind of gives you a sort of second view of how to deal with. There's a range of grain characters, stem characters, ligules and that type of thing, a bit similar to the rice in this case that we were talking about. And then you get these other effects like supernumerary spikelets. This is a sort of extra spikelet that gets sort of tucked in and it makes the ears look untidy. And there is a character of frequency of presence.
I also heartily welcome Mr. Sarathi ji, then APC and Principal Secretary, who is leading the state agriculture, transforming sectors of agriculture and horticulture, and also the marketing, sir. And then, so we are very fortunate, sir. Again, the backbone of this implementation of this OECD certification is the key behind this program, sir. And then we could made it like the first in the country, and then we could exported the more than 17,000 quintals of seeds to the other countries, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your support and your presence today. Then I welcome the OECD seed experts. So they all the way traveled from the South Africa and also the UK, sir. This is for them that this is the third time, sir. And so they are, whenever we are inviting them, so they are just coming to share their expertise, and they are the world experts in the OECD certification, sir. The main objective, as you are aware, in Indian concern, if you look at compared to the other globally, the capacity building in respect of the OECD seed certification is we are lagging behind, sir. So therefore we have planned a series of capacity building programs in the OECD seed certification scheme, and then so that's how this is the fourth of its kind, and then so we could organize by involving both of these the experts from the other countries, sir. Workshop was 5 days workshop was inaugurated by our respected the Agriculture Protection Commissioner and Principal Scientist to the Government of Telangana, and then followed by the zero assessment, and also we took the feedback from the different states, but the participants are from the 15 different states, sir. Then Dr. Hanchinal, so former chair of the PPV and FR, and Mr. Trivedi, former Deputy Commissioner, so they took the feedback and then given some way forward how to go about it, and then when will they go back to their home state, sir. And then later on our experts like management and then organization field inspections, we share their knowledge theoretically on the first day, and then second day was the completely practical, sir, on the how to organize the pre-control and post-control test, and then for the genetic purity testing. So they were in the field on the second day. And then similarly on third and fourth day, so they were taken to the Karimnagar districts, and then which is the famous for the hybrid seed production area. And then so most of the hybrid seed from the India is being produced in Karimnagar, more than 90% of the area. And so they were traveled, and then they took the field inspections in the hybrid rice OECD seed certification plant, sir. And then so today is the concluding day, sir. So in this direction, and then in the similar to, there are several meetings, and then several were organized and several decisions were taken. I request the Principal Secretary, sir, who is also a Vice Chair of the OECD task force at the Government of India level. So I request you to share the initiatives from the state, sir. In this connection, so the total number was comprised of the 50 members, and then 35 participants from the public seed sector, and then 15 from the private seed sector, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Keshavlu. Workshop summary by Shri Partha Garu, Principal Secretary to Government of Telangana.
As mentioned by Professor Keshavlu, he is the man who has sown the seed of OECD scheme. Otherwise, it was not heard in the annals of history of our country. So 2008, when India joined the OECD scheme, that year our Secretary Saab went to USA and he participated in the OECD annual meeting. And in pursuant of his visit to US, the request of Government of India was approved, and somehow we became member of OECD scheme. And that seed, which was sown by him 2008, has germinated, grown into a plant, it flowered, and now it started yielding. So now we are finding fruits of that plant after a very, very long years. In fact, the seed which he has sown relatively remained dormant for a few years. We don't know what are the reasons, but it started only growing fast and picked up its growth only after 2015. And I take pride in making a statement that Telangana government took lead in this scheme and took so many initiatives, and because of which, and with the help of Government of India support and with the help of the seed experts in the world, we have seen that the scheme has seen the success. But I feel at this juncture that we need not be complacent, because complacency always breeds non-growth, zero growth. So it is time Government of India also comes to the rescue of this program if it has to take off in the future years. And I feel that it is a historic day. The man who has sown the seed, now seeing the fruit, he is not only expressing happiness, and he will see that further, plants come up and they also bear fruits. And India enters in the days to come international seed trade to a maximum extent. We are aware India's share is only 1 to 2% as of now, and we aim to have 10% share at least in the international seed trade in the days to come. We want to see, we have a dream that Indian seed should move across the nations in the entire world. Every country should see, yes, there is Indian seed and we want its import to their countries. Already this seed has started moving. It has already moved to several countries. But the seed that is certified within our country, following international norms, following international approvals, the procedures of seed testing or raising the crop, now with that certification, it is moving across the nations. I still remember the first lot which was flagged off maybe personally when the seed was moved to countries like Egypt, Sudan and Philippines. The seed also, OECD certified scheme has also moved to countries like Russia. It has also moved to countries like Italy. So it has touched African continent, Asian continent and also Europe. I am happy that almost it has touched 3 continents, and we have a dream that it should touch other countries in the days to come. And one such requirement will be, I must submit to Secretary Saab, that we must have EU equivalence. That is one item before us, and fortunately that agenda item of having EU equivalence has been entrusted to Professor Keshavlu, and with the support of Government of India, I hope that he takes it forward shortly so that we have EU equivalence in addition to OECD, so that there will not be any bar, there will not be any obstacle or hurdle in moving our seed across the nation in the entire world. So let me narrate a small story of the OECD scheme, how it has grown, so that Dr. Patnaik ji will understand how it traveled and what was its journey and what efforts have been made by Government of India and state government in taking this forward. Originally, 10 designated authorities were there in the entire country who are entrusted for certifying by following OECD systems. Long back, it was done after 2008. And the time when it has come, it was 2015. In 2015, the great visionary, our Honorable Chief Minister, in one of his statements he made, Telangana is seed. So that statement was a source of inspiration for all of us. In 2015, he made a statement and he convened a meeting of seed industry and he appealed to seed industry that government is with you, you take it forward, and whatever support is required from our state, we'll give it. That's how the seed bowl of Telangana, now we have a dream that this Telangana state should not only remain as seed bowl of our country. It should look forward to become a seed hub of entire world. Because seed hub of our country, it has been in the past. We produce 60% of requirement of major crops in the country, and certain hybrid seeds. It will go only from Telangana, no other state to other states and other countries. So after that, in 2015, we held a National Seed Congress. That was the first initiative took up by the state government of Telangana. When we held a National Seed Congress, then there was a lot of interface between public sector and private seed industry. Then Telangana administration then understood how the private seed industry is thriving in our state with more than 400 state-of-the-art, manufacturing or assembling or processing, whatever you call it, they are involved in the seed production and processing program in our state. So we realized the potential of the state, and definitely we took a vote in the National Seed Congress that yes, let us all take it forward. Then after we took interest as part of holding National Seed Congress, the private seed industry, they made a request to Government of India, being seed bowl of this country, the Telangana government has to be given opportunity for entering into OECD scheme. Then Government of India readily responded, and Telangana seed certification was made designated authority for 4 states. In addition to Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Orissa. So with 4 states having jurisdiction, we started moving, and initially we wanted to understand this OECD program in all its framework, because unless we understand the all nuances, entire gamut of issues, if we want to do something in this program, we cannot go forward. Then we organized first national workshop on OECD. So that was the beginning of thinking of how to go about it, so that we can draw a roadmap in the entire country to take this scheme forward. So in the month of July 2016, first national workshop was held on OECD, and lot of issues were discussed. It was like a sensation meeting for all the states. We do not know, every one of us who participated in the first workshop, we didn't know what OECD scheme is about, and what kind of procedures they follow in the lab, in the field, in the entire certification process. Then we got sensitized in the first conference. We also came to know that if we want to take it forward, then crops and varieties have to be enlisted by the national authority. So we found the kitty was very small. It was only 90 varieties that were there. Then we made an appeal to all universities, all certification agencies in the state. Why don't you enlist more and more varieties and crops, so that its range of working will grow, and slowly the scheme also will have a growth. So that was one resolution we passed in the first workshop. And second important resolution was, no, this is only a preliminary kind of workshop. Let us have a elaborate workshop and go into the all details. Let us invite some foreign experts from other countries, so that the entire public sector and private sector staff can be totally sensitized, and they understand all implications of this scheme. Then second workshop we held in November 16, and 2016 I can say was a major milestone in taking OECD forward. In second workshop, it was decided by the then Joint Secretary SEED, Mr. R.K. Singh. We are highly grateful to Mr. R.K. Singh. Whenever we convened, whether National Seed Congress or OECD workshop or any national level conference, he readily agreed and he supported and was personally there throughout in the conferences. And along with us, he also learned so many things about the seed industry and also the OECD program. Then in the second workshop, a decision was taken by the Government of India that there shall be two designated authorities. One will lead in the south, Telangana, and one in the north, that is Rajasthan. So two designated authorities were given freedom. Now you do work in your respective, south and north, and see that some, things get delivered. And after that workshop, Government of India has started thinking about it. Then they wanted that serious steps must be taken. Then they constituted National Task Force with the JS seats as a chairperson. And in both the National Task Force meeting, I have attended and Professor Keshav attended. And somehow I was made vice chairman of that National Task Force. First Task Force meeting, we have discussed just like our first conference. It was also a task force meeting discussing some preliminary issues. Where do we stand and how do we go about it? But in the second National Task Force meeting, major decisions were taken which have really helped this program to take it forward. In fact, when we held the second national workshop, Mr. Prabhakar Rao, who is sitting here representing New Zealand seats, to promote, motivate every one of us, he filed one application for 20 acres for Kharif of 2016. Maize application for OECD scheme was filed by him. So he has sown the seed of OECD in Telangana state, and we are grateful to him. And in the next Rabi, we had series of meeting with the seed industry, and an extent of 2,271 acres was sown under this program. And as mentioned by Professor Keshav, 16-17 we could export 17,000 of quintals. Then again we started working on 17-18. Again we had series of meetings with the seed industry. Then lot of issues were thrown by the seed industry to take it forward. And we have come to a point, if Government of India gives unless they give a big push to this program, it is likely there is a danger that it may not go that fast now. Because unless Government of India comes to the rescue of this scheme by taking several major decisions, there will not be any faster growth for the program. And it may so happen that it may come back to, back to square kind of thing. And entire effort that has gone into this program in the last 2-3 years will come to a grinding halt. That danger is also, we are very, very apprehensive, we are very much concerned and worried. And with this background, I happen to personally invite Secretary Saab so that he knows what is what and what has happened during last 2-3 years and what can be done now by the Government of India, so that, because ready-made environment is there. Now we have a 50 to 60 people well trained in OECD scheme. I call them ambassadors of OECD scheme in the entire country, and they are responsible for carrying this responsibility to other states now. And our farmers are trained now to produce under OECD certification. Our manpower, the certification agency staff, they are also trained in this. And seed companies also, they also are familiar with this OECD scheme. Entire environment is there. And the main issue is, before seed industry is, okay, we can produce, we can follow the OECD certification, but export to which country, to which party? So we need to have a breakthrough there. Unless there is a breakthrough there, then it's very difficult to expand. Our farmers are trained, our staff are trained, entire country, private seed industry and technical people, you have undergone training. Now you know what is what, and we have identified 2 international experts. Mr. Eddie and Jerry, who are with us like members of the family all these 2-3 years, whenever we invite them, they are coming here and training our people. So everything is there. But now it is time we have a push for this entire program. And the enlisted list, which was there at 90, now it has gone up to 231. I am grateful to Government of India, Secretary Saab, for enlisting the more number of varieties. And there is a need now to think even introduce more and more crops. Now we get a feeling in this year that jute is one, because jute is also one area. Even in Telangana state, in few districts, we ourselves have visited where jute seed production is taking place. And this jute is very, very important for countries like Bangladesh and Southeast Asia. If jute is included in the OECD scheme, then there will be scope for exporting seed of jute. And we also found that in Europe and other developed countries, very, very important component which needs a push. So forage seed has to be included in the list. So jute is one crop we have identified as on today, in addition to 20 crops which are existing. And forage seed, one crop. These forage crops we have to enlist so that we can also have more help on that account. And as part of this program and part of motivation, we have gone for taking up a lab of ISTA standards. In the month of November, December, we took decision and we invited our minister, foundation stone was laid. Now it has come up and we are hoping that in the month of July, the ISTA lab will be inaugurated in our state. And we have one good state-of-the-art ISTA lab at Rajendra Nagar in the university campus, which will stand as an example, and maybe we have a dream to convert into like a center of excellence as far as testing and also training programs for other states who ever come to Hyderabad. So we have a dream to fill up with very good people, provide very good equipment so that it will stand up to the occasion, and ISTA lab dream will be realized in the month of July once we inaugurate it. Then we thought there are really keen to learn. And in the month of November 17, we had a first training program which was attended by 57 selected people representing public sector and private sector. For the same batch, this is second training program we are giving. First training program, most of it was theoretical, and there was some laboratory exposure. But we thought, in addition to some theoretical module, let us give them, practical module. Let them give in the fields itself. So 3 days we have designed a module in such a way. First day, again refreshing the theory, improving upon the theoretical aspect, and next 3 days it will be in the field. And Mr. Eddie and Mr. Jerry have taken a lot of pains to see that these 3 days field trip also is made successful. This year, 2,518 acres we could register as part of OECD scheme, and the expected production is 26,000 quintals. So last year it was 17,000 quintals. This year it has become 26,000 quintals. In fact, we aimed at 5,000 acres this Rabi, because basically seed production take place in Rabi season. Our target was 5,000 acres, but our achievement is, to my surprise, it is only 2,518 acres. That's why we started thinking, why it is not going at a pace which is required. We had a task, we had a series of meetings with the seed industry. So whatever effort at state government level we can do, we have done our best. But even then, it's not on the race. So this point has come where now Government of India has to step in, and whatever issues are there before us, they can be resolved, and definitely this will take it forward, the existing OECD program. Before I take leave, I only mentioned some of the major decisions that were taken by the National Task Force in the second meeting, and those decisions I am just placing before the Secretary Saab so that he will understand these steps, and Government of India has to take necessary action on these initiatives. Testing varieties and hybrid in other OECD countries, because other countries in OECD or otherwise also, they are not aware what is the potential of our country, which are the crops which they can import, which is the seed of which variety they can import. So unless we test our varieties in other countries, they will not come to know. And we thought in the National Task Force that National Seed Corporation has to be given responsibility for making these tests. And this is one point where action need to be initiated so that slowly this program goes forward. Then second issue is EU equivalence, which I already mentioned. Definitely Professor Keshavu will take it to a lot. And one important suggestion was made by the seed industry. The suggestion was, we should have a single window, like other, exporting for other things. We should have a single window clearance when seed is exported to other countries. Because once one item is exported, whether seed or any item, 4 or 5 departments in the Government of India, they come into pictures, and they should not create hurdles in export of seed. If a single window is created in the form of Seed Export Promotion Council, if this is created by Government of India, then there will be convergence of 4 or 5 important ministries in the Government of India level. It will be like a single window, and all efforts will converge, both Government of India, seed industry and other relevant departments, so that there is no hurdle in exporting seed to other countries. Then we have to go for establishing at least 1 or 2 more of laboratories of ISTA standards. In South India now we have, by July, we are going to have one lab of ISTA standards. Maybe in the middle of our country, one maybe in the North India or something like that. Other 2 or 3 labs we need to develop, whichever state is keen to have them. Government of India has to support. It is not a big program. Government of India, state government will give land, and central government may give some 3 crores, 5 crores, whatever is required for establishing the lab. And it's not a big thing for Government of India, only peanuts. But this, if step is taken, then more and more ISTA labs also will come in the public sector, and that will also give boost. Capacity building, just like that which we are doing for all the designated authorities, we need to have every year 1 or 2 conferences, workshops, training programs, so that this momentum is sustained. Whatever is learned is not lost. And these conferences, workshops, they become actually source of inspiration, and also they become, points where everyone will think of the subject, and they, initiate something, which will lead to some decision making. So all our conferences we have seen in the last 2-3 years, every conference led to some, concrete decisions and concrete actions, because of which we are able to make progress. NSRTC Varanasi, there is only one center in the country. We need to have one or two more, so that a center of excellence kind of things will be there, and they will become centers of training, centers of expertise, so that private industry and also public industry, they look to such places in our country. Then all our manuals need to be updated. In the last National Task Force meeting also, a committee was constituted and they were given responsibility to update the manuals. In fact, even in the domestic seed certification, when we had national conference, it was a surprise for all of us that old manuals, torn, even certain seed agency, if you go and ask the manual, they will not be able to give you at all. So new manuals, updated manuals have to be now printed and provided to people working in the field in the entire country. Some of the public sector has been totally neglected in the past, and public sector has to be strengthened. Otherwise, the present share of private seed sector is 75 or 76%. It may reach 90%, and there may not be any public sector in the days to come. That's how we have apprehension as the things going on. So ultimately, my appeal to Government of India and Secretary's Office is that there must be some high-level committee reviewing OECD scheme very, very frequently, very, very periodically, so that a roadmap can be drawn and an action plan, say 5 years. What can be done in the next 5 years can be prepared, it can be budgeted, whatever decisions of Government of India there, they can be incorporated in the action plan, and we'll be very happy to be part of that, preparing roadmap and action plan, and this will definitely help. Even I am there, I am not there, and Professor Keshav is there or not, an action plan has to be there so that everybody will be working on this. And there is no seed database. If you want to have statistics of who is exporting, how much is being exported, to which country is exporting, which country, which crop, which variety, if you want a data, there is no such database. This is one aspect we have to look at it, and now at least we should start building a database for our seed industry, and so that we will know where do we stand and where do we take it forward.